guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, thanks so much for clicking on my video today. We are going to be doing a little Paris travel advice video. For those of you who follow me on Instagram and TikTok, you'll have seen last summer I actually went to Paris for a week with my friend Darcy. I didn't vlog it or anything during the time because I was not really doing anything social media wise. I was like doing a little bit, but it was during the break that I had, which if you see my 2 videos ago will completely explain why I was having a break. But I now want to do a little like travel advice, tips, things to do, things to not do before you go to Paris and whilst you're in Paris, if you're planning on going for a trip soon, which with it coming up to Valentine's Day and probably everyone's thinking about what holidays they're going to be going on soon, I thought this was the perfect time to sort of set out a few that I sort of worked out whilst I was there and a few that I like heard of while I was there, because when we went, I can't say we were like the most prepared. Like we were prepared and like some of these tips we'd already done, but there was a few that we kind of wish we'd have known before we'd got out there. So I'm telling you them now so you don't make the same mistakes that we did. I'll just give a quick like brief overview of our trip just so you know what kind of things we were doing, how it'll sort of link in with the trip that you're planning. So we went for a week. We stayed in 3 hostels because we wanted to move around different parts of the city and sort of meet new people. My friend was actually going to stay in France for a few months, so we were just kind of doing it to meet people, see more of it. We didn't just want to stay in like one hotel and sort of be stuck there. We wanted to move around and see different parts. The first hostel was the 3 Ducks. That was the absolute best hostel. Like it was amazing. In fact, when I left, my friend went back there because it was so nice. The next one we stayed in was a Joe and Joe's hostel in Gentilly. Please do excuse me if I get my pronunciations wrong. I am trying, but I'm not the best at pronouncing. And the third one was, I think it was something called St. Christopher's Inn in the north of Paris. So those were the 3 we stayed in. I've got my phone ready because I have written all these points down because I know what my goldfish brain's like. I'll either forget points and then while I'm like editing I'll be like, oh, why didn't I say that? Or I'll repeat myself, or we'll get completely sidetracked and just completely go off script. So I have done myself a list, so I'm going to stick to it so that I don't miss out any of the important tips. So my first tip is to go in spring. We went in July. It was absolutely scorching. It was like late 30s. That kind of weather's lovely when you've got like a beach or a pool or somewhere to cool down, but when you're in a city it gets trapped and it's just like an oven. And I've heard the term of Paris in spring. That's not a lie. I would not recommend going in summer, although it was lovely and it meant that we got to see a lot of the tourist attractions like in the sun. It was not raining or anything like that, but it was just too hot. Queuing for things outside. Like I desperately wanted to go to Angelina's while we were there to try the hot chocolate because I'd seen it so much and I'm such a big chocolate lover. But it was so hot and the queue outside, like we knew there'd be a queue to get in because you can't book after I think it's 2 PM. But the queue outside was right in the sun. I think it was like 38 degrees and I was just like, I can't stand 2 hours just stood in the roaring heat. It was just too much. And the metro, every aspect of it was just absolutely boiling. Like it got to the point where we were just like so thankful to pop into like a shop or something that had aircon. Neither of us dealt very well in the heat, and there's quite a bit of walking. Like you can obviously get the metro to like A to B, but you do want to do some walking and enjoy the streets and like find little places. One thing that I do regret was we went to Versailles and we didn't do the gardens, and that's mainly because it was literally just ridiculously hot. Like there was no shade in the gardens and we'd already queued outside to get our tickets for like 2 hours. We just couldn't do another like hour or so just wandering around in like the blazing heat. So do go in spring. I don't know whether autumn would be good because I know their winter's very similar to ours in like temperature, so I don't know if it'd be quite rainy or cold, but definitely go in spring. So the second tip is book your activities. Now we didn't know how important this was. We kind of just went to Paris and was like, we'll just wing it. We kind of already envisioned what activities we'd do well, as in close to the hostel that we were in at the time, because I've said we were moving about, but we didn't have anything set in stone. We were just kind of taking it chill, seeing day by day what we wanted to do. Anyway, when we were at the first hostel, we met some gals and they basically said that they'd booked, I think it was either the Louvre or Versailles, and that it meant that they didn't have to queue as long. And they may have also said it was slightly cheaper to book. I will put down in the description the prices that it says online at the minute, so the prices that it is when you turn up on the day and the price that it says for booking, so you can see the price difference and you can sort of gauge yourself whether it's worth booking. But they did say it knocked a couple of hours off their queue time. Anyway, when they told us that, we were a bit like, oh, maybe we should have booked. We went online and it was already booked up, both the Louvre and Versailles, for the days that we wanted to go. So in hindsight, knowing what we know now and going to Versailles and having to wait 2 hours in a queue to finally get a ticket, bearing in mind it's blazing hot, like bright sunshine, no shade, you get a ticket at like 1 in the afternoon and they were like, you can't enter till 5:30 p.m. We did go back at 5 because I was like, we might as well just try it and see if they'll let us in, and they did. So we did get an extra half an hour in there, which we needed, because by the time we'd gone through it all, they were pretty much shooing us out of the courtyard, so we literally needed about an hour and a half to get around it all. So yeah, definitely book. The Louvre, I would say the queue wasn't as bad as we were expecting. It wasn't as bad as Versailles, but it was still long and you're still in the sun. So again, if we'd have booked, would have saved time. So any activities, the catacombs, whatever you're thinking of doing while you're in Paris, see if you can book online. It's probably cheaper and it will save you so much time. My third tip is, if you are in the European Union and you're aged between 18 and 25, there is so many places you can go in for free. I was absolutely gutted that when we went, we were out the European Union, because there were places we were going that we were paying for, although it was only something like the Pantheon, I swear it was only about 11 euros. Still, if you're going for free, you can spend that 11 euros somewhere else. It's just so much saving. If you're doing activities every day that costs 10-20 euros, if you're there for a week, that's like 150 euros you could be saving over that week. So yeah, if you are aged between 18 and 25, do make use of that. Have a little Google. I'll drop some in the description of the places you can go for free, but take advantage of it. One of the big places you can go is the Louvre. You can literally go to the Louvre for free, and that is, you know, pretty incredible. You're gonna save so much money overall. But also, just going with this, I wouldn't say it's its own tip of itself, so I'm just pushing it in with this tip. Some places do offer free nights. For example, the Louvre, if you go on a Friday after 6 p.m. and you're under 26, it's free for any nationality. So do check online. This links in with my previous tip of the booking. Check online, see if they do deals like that, because the thing is, if you're on a budget and you don't want to go absolutely crazy on all these activities, you can then have a look, see which ones you can do for free. Like, you know, if you want to do the Louvre but it's not completely up there for you in importance, why don't you go see it after 6 p.m. on a Friday if you're under 26, and then you go for free. But just check on their websites, see if there's any free evenings or afternoons, because during quiet times they clearly want to get people in. So yeah, take advantage of those as well. Tip number 4, the best views of Paris, and this is only my opinion, but I believe are from the Arc de Triomphe, not from the Eiffel Tower. If you are only going to go up one or the other, please, please, please go up the Arc de Triomphe. You will not be disappointed. The streets are literally beautiful coming off it. It just looks stunning, and from the top you can see the Eiffel Tower, and it is just such an incredible view. I cannot get over, like, it was probably one of the best views that I had that week. There was pretty much nothing that compared to it. Like, I can't explain to you. I was literally amazed with it. I still think about it now. It was incredible, and I 100% go up there again, like, without a doubt. If I went back to Paris, even though I'd already done it before, I'd be straight up there without a doubt. It was just phenomenal. I actually went up there at sunset, and I would definitely recommend. That was a great time to go, because it's just, there's sort of this golden glow across the whole of the city. You're seeing the sun setting, and I also got to see the sun go like directly between the arch, and that was honestly, I think it's one of my favourite pictures that I've taken. Like, I didn't expect to get that picture. I didn't expect the sun to go like right in the middle. You can see how happy just thinking back about it makes me. I will just warn you there's a lot of steps to get to the top. I don't think there's a lift because it's such an old building, but there's a lot of steps, like, and I'm not exaggerating. By the time I got up there, I was like, oh my god, I was like a sweaty mess, but so worth it. If you can do the steps, so worth it. But yeah, you will have to just check online to see whether there's like accommodation for people in wheelchairs, because I'm not sure if there is. But yes, if you can get up there, absolutely do it. And like I say, if you can only go up either the Eiffel Tower or the Arc de Triomphe, do the Arc de Triomphe. The view is just unmatched. Now we're on tip number 5. This is very much linked with my previous tip of the Arc de Triomphe, but I felt it needed its own, because if you're just skipping through this video and looking in the description at the chapters and just having a quick listen to the tips, I wanted this one to stand out. Do not run from the road through the junction to the Arc de Triomphe. I have seen people saying on TikToks that they didn't know that that wasn't the way you got there. They were like literally saying that they just ran across, and loads of people in the comments were like, yeah, we didn't realise that there's a safe way to get there. And to be honest, when you come out the metro or you walk down one of the streets, it is sort of daunting. Like, it's not very clear where to go and how to get there. I was like, how are people over there? I was like, how have they got there? And I just sort of walked around until you see, it's like a little passageway that goes like right underneath the road, and that's how you get there. Once you see it, it's very clear where it goes. You go down there, and then you can go into like the main museum bit, and then you can pay to go up to the very top. That's how you get there safely. Please, please, please do not run. It is the most craziest road junction that I've ever seen in my life. It does not surprise me that loads of people run across, because it's not very clear how you get there. But yes, there is passageways that go underneath the road straight there, so you can get there safely. We're now on to our tip number 6, the metro. How to use it safely. First of all, you can Google map from point A to point B where you want to go, and it will tell you exactly what metro line you need to be using. So it is so simple to do. If you've got internet, or you know, check before you leave, take a screenshot of it, make sure you know exactly what you're getting on, where you're changing, which one you're getting onto, you'll be fine. Google Maps will literally make it so simple for you. And if you are using Google Maps while you're in the street, I'd recommend popping your earphones in and letting it play verbally into your phone, so you're not constantly with your phone out, just for safety reasons. I mean, I didn't at any point feel unsafe having my phone out in the main centre of Paris, but I know a lot of people do, and a lot of people have said about pickpocketing. So I was conscious of putting my phone away as soon as I could. So just be conscious, use your earphones if you are going to use Google Maps, especially if you're travelling alone, just for safety. But in terms of if you're going to be using the metro loads, which I would recommend, it's a great way to get around the city. Either buy a 10-pack of metro tickets, because you save 25% if you do that, or buy a week ticket. Sort of work out how many trips you're going to be making, and then work out which would be the best, because we did individual because we didn't really plan ahead. But looking back, the amount of times we ended up catching it, it would have probably been beneficial to get the 10-pack and save the 25%. So just to bear that in mind, plan ahead, think about how many trips you're going to be doing, and then that way you might save yourself some money. And while you are using the metro, just be conscious of what zone you're in, because we made this mistake. We tried to go from zone 1 with a ticket into zone 2 and didn't realise until the gates were opening that we'd bought the wrong ticket. And it can be very confusing, because obviously when you're in London, I think zones 1 and 2, or at least the tickets I've always bought for London, you can use, but we couldn't do that in Paris. So just be conscious, see on the tube map, Google it, where you're going to be getting off, and just make sure you get the right ticket for that, so you're not stuck at the gate, because there's not always someone there to help, especially on the smaller stations. So just make sure you know what zone you're going to and get the right tickets so that you're covered. Number 7. This one is one that I've learned since leaving Paris. I just sort of wanted to put this in because I thought it'd be beneficial to other people. We didn't really need to use it because, like I say, we went in summer, it was scorching hot. We use any opportunity to go inside somewhere, whether that be us going to a restaurant or a cafe. So it is the toilet system. Now, I did not realise how prepared Paris is with toilets. All of these toilets are free. They have so many public toilets for you to use for free, and they're also completely accessible for people with disabilities. And with it being such a big system, I think there's like 400 toilets that are free to use and being put all over the city. So yeah, at least you know that if you're out and about, you know where to go. Nearing the end of the list of tips, this one is just a small one, but again, something you may have not considered. Wear a bum bag. It's a very safe way to wear like your valuables, because everyone's going to be having money on them, everyone's going to have their phone on them, earphones, electronics, whatever you're carrying, have somewhere safe to put it. Like, a little handbag is not safe. Like, you cannot have a cute little handbag. Yes, it looks lovely, but for safety reasons, do wear a bum bag. It's secure to your body. It's harder to get off, especially if you're wearing something that you can put it through loops. Just make sure you're thinking safety first, because although I never felt unsafe, never felt like I was being watched or anything of the such, like I didn't feel like I was going to get pickpocketed or anything. My experience was a positive one. I do hear stories about people who were pickpocketed, and you know, if you're having like a massive like shopper bag on your shoulder that people can just put their hand in the back without even realizing, it's gonna happen. Finally, down to a tip that we actually use before going out and didn't just learn while we're out there. Get yourself a Monzo card or something similar that you can use abroad that doesn't charge you, because your debit and your credit card will incur charges if you're using abroad. We both had Monzo cards, so we used them. I put it on my Apple Pay and I was just using my phone like normal, like I would in the UK, and I didn't get charged for it. My friend did at some point accidentally use her debit card and she got like charged for it. So just be careful, but get one, so then at least you don't have to be carrying big like amounts of cash on you. Because if you're going on a big day, say you're going to go to like the Eiffel Tower, you want to go up, you know, there's going to be costs. You're going out for like a fancy dinner, whatever you're doing, if it's a big day and it's going to cost you a lot of money, you don't want to be carrying a large amount of cash on you. You've got to be safe. They're free to get. Just get a Monzo card before you get out there. Make sure you order it. I would say give yourself like a month before you go, because I think it does take a week or two to deliver, and then if there's any delays, at least you know that it's going to be there on time. It's better to be prepared than to be panicking like me, because I ordered it, bearing in mind it was actually a week late. I'm trying to remember what actually was the case. It might have been that it was only supposed to take like a couple of working days, but anyway, it literally came the day I was leaving. Order it early. It's better to have it and have it sitting in your wallet than to not have it at all when you go there, because you just don't want to get charged. Like, there is no point when you can literally make the same transaction without the charge. Now to the final bit of travel advice for Paris, probably one that you weren't expecting to be on this video, but I feel like it's important to mention because sometimes I hear a lot of negative comments about Paris and that a lot of people were disappointed. And I just wanted to say that it is not like Emily in Paris. Emily in Paris, great programme. I love to watch it and I love to see places I've been, and I'm like, yes, it does look exactly like that. But what you don't see in Emily in Paris is them walking around down a load of the streets that you'll be walking around. Paris is a city and there is a lot of poverty there, and you will see that. You will see it regularly. And I hear a lot of people thinking, oh, I expected it to look a lot prettier. Oh, I didn't, you know, it was a lot more run down than I expected. So here I am, making it clear to you, it's very run down. There's a lot of poverty. Yes, when you go to the Eiffel Tower, it's very pretty around there. There's a lot of pretty streets. The places you see on Instagram, they're pretty. They are pretty. They do look like what they look like on Instagram. Like, I'm not going to lie. There are very pretty places. But there are also places where you can see very clearly the poverty. And I just want to make that aware, because I find it really sad when people say they were disappointed with Paris, because I think they were going in with the view that it was going to be absolutely like Instagrammable everywhere, that it was just going to be luxury around every corner, and it's just not. So do think about your expectations of Paris before you go out. Don't go out thinking it's all going to be glowing and pretty around absolutely every corner, because it's not, and then you might feel disappointed. Just go there with an open mind. It is a beautiful city and I absolutely would rave about Paris, but that is because I went knowing that it's not going to look how it does in Emily in Paris all the time. You just got to realise it's just like every other city. It's like the city you live near. There are good parts, there are bad parts, it's just hand in hand, but I do think people go expecting it to be like 99% good parts, but it's not. It's like every other city, and if you go with that in mind, I think you'll have an absolutely wonderful time, and I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. And just enjoy it. Enjoy the experience of seeing somewhere that you've probably seen a billion times in pictures. Just enjoy yourself. But yeah, that's all I have today for you. I will put as much information as I can in the description about prices. I will put what places that I've been. But yeah, I hope the advice that I've given you will help you A, plan your trip, and B, help you to be a little bit safer and a little bit more streetwise while you're there. And I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic trip if you're going, because honestly, I think you're gonna love it. You're gonna have the best time. But yeah, thanks ever so much for watching. If you've got this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I really hope you'll be here for my next one.